in 3, 2, 1, go.
First 20 seconds of the rebuilt match, all completely programmed and autonomous. 4580, the conductors delivering a couple of those fuel into their hub, each of those worth 1.4. Their alliance, 4982, Olympus Robotics, hoping to do the same for their alliance. 135, the FIN Robotics Black Knights, able to push a couple of those fuel into their human player station known as the Outpushed. 829 Digital Ghosts surfing on some of that fuel in the center part of the field. Scores 19-27 in favor of your Red Alliance. Red Alliance then will get that benefit as we move into the autonomous period, or teleoperated period. Final 2 minutes and 20 seconds as all teleoperated human players picking up controllers and timing the robots that their team built this season. Teams continuing to move around the field to play to score points for their alliance. 829 Digital Goats, while their hub is inactive, trying to pick up as much fuel as possible and fill up their hopper for scoring into their hub when it is active. Just 6 points between these two teams and only 6 points before the blue hub deactivates. Red Alliance hub now coming online. All those Red Alliance robots hoping to score points for their alliance. 76-17 Robo Blazers from Carmel, hoping to get some of those game pieces into their launcher and getting it up into the hub. 829 Digital Goats able to successfully deliver a couple of those game pieces and getting some assistance from their human player. Blue Alliance during this time playing a little bit of Hungry Hippo, trying to pick up as much fuel as possible. 4980T Olympus Robotics shuttling some of those game pieces onto their Alliance station, making it ready for the future now that their hub is active. A couple of those game pieces scored from the outpost due to their human player, one of them just about spinning out. Those robots now joining the fray, mostly of those contributions from 4982 Olympus Robotics. Scores going 53-71 in favor of your Red Alliance. Red Alliance getting their Blue Alliance now getting their second opportunity with their active hub. Going back over to the Red Alliance. 829 Digital Goats from Indianapolis, maybe throwing a couple of those game pieces a little bit too early to be scored, but they'll now have the remainder of that active hub period to get points for their alliance. This is the last time a single hub will be active before we enter that end game period. 38-65, Riley Wild Boss picking up some of those game pieces on the Blue Alliance side, preparing for that end game period, which just started. We heard that steam whistle. Teams starting to make their way towards the end game. Those towers are those vertical monkey bars. 10, 20, 30 points available. The higher they climb, the more points they'll find. Many teams continuing to focus on scoring points. Blue Alliance already that energized threshold of scoring 108, way over the 100 required. Blue Alliance, though, continuing to apply that pressure and will be a few points away off from that ranking point, counting them out in 3, 2, 1. That's the end of qualification match 44. Stick tight to see how those scores total up. That last match score of 112 to the Blue Alliance's 68. Continuing on in qualification match 45.